I'm gonna be a little bit biased because you know what I'm saying, Melly's innocent, and he's been innocent ever since it started. You know what I'm saying? He would not commit no crimes like that, no heinous crimes like that.
YNW Melly's manager, 100K Track, talks about his client as he faces double murder charges in the deaths of his friends. The state's case coming to a conclusion soon. I'm Angenette Levy. Welcome to Law&Crime's Sidebar podcast. Before the week ended in the YNW Melly murder trial, things came to a close early because attorneys on both sides became ill. The name of Melly's manager, Jameson Francois, who goes by 100K Track, came up several times during the week, particularly when it came to transfers of money to Melly after the homicides. Melly faces the possibility of the death penalty if convicted of the October 2018 murders of his friends and fellow rappers, Chris Thomas, who went by YNW Juvie, and Anthony Williams, known as YNW Sack Chaser. His co-defendant, Cortland Henry, who went by YNW Bortland, will go to trial in October. I asked Track to discuss some of what's happened in the trial so far, but he said at this time he wanted to stay away from that since the case is ongoing. He started representing Melly in 2017. Track met Melly when the latter was serving time in jail. We talked about where he was in the hours before the murders.
I was home that whole day playing video games, playing 2K. I think it was 2K20 something or 2K19. I was just playing video games the whole day.
Track wasn't in the recording studio that night. I asked him how he found out that Juvie and Sack had been killed.
The next day in the morning, I got a call about it. I was just very heartbroken. I was very confused, and didn't know what was happening. So we went to go see him. Though he already had his mom and a couple other people there, and we just basically were just trying to pull it together and stuff like that. He had a lot of activities after, like shows and video shoots and other things. And I personally, man, I wanted to just shut everything down and just give him some time. But with that situation, he didn't really want to be at a standstill. His mind was all over the place, so he wanted to keep working just to kind of like keep his mind off it and just keep moving. So it was a very tough day. That was a tough day.
Text messages shown during the trial show that Melly sent a pin to Fredo Bang, who then raced to pick Melly up after the murders. The defense has tried to cast doubt on whether it was Melly using that phone that ends in the number 9807. Bortland claimed to police that they'd all been victims of a drive-by. Track said he saw Melly that morning. Was that Fredo Bang's house? Was he there?
Or I'm not sure if I went to his house or Fredo's house, honestly, because it was so long ago. But I remember his family was at his house. We went to his house too, so it was like a little bit. Everybody was a little bit in different places and things like that. I don't remember exactly where I met him, but because I did go to both houses, so I really don't remember which one.
Sack and Juvie were killed after leaving the recording studio. Bortland arrived at the hospital at 4:35 a.m. This week, prosecutors played a video of Melly and Bortland at a video shoot later that day. Track was there.
But he was up, man. Like, that was, like I said, that was a rough morning and a rough day. And I'm very surprised, and you know what I'm saying? And I definitely commend him for just being able to just even going to the video shoot and being professional and doing what he had to do, because those commitments was done way like prior, before the incident. Those deposits was paid, and and it was either A, refund back the money and funds and things like that, or B, do what he got to do and just man up and do it. And he was able to pull himself together and get it done. But the whole day, man, it was a very like sad day. Like, you could tell the atmosphere was down. His energy was down. He was trying to pick himself back up, trying to block it and just be professional and do what he got to do. But you could tell he was hurting really bad. So he was really devastated.
There was like a really big bodyguard with him that day, or at least it looked like a bodyguard. The woman in the video said it was. I mean, did you hire the bodyguard, or did he always have security, or were you worried for his safety?
Now I always hire security and bodyguards whenever we're doing anything public. If it's a show or a video shoot or anything that's gonna be marketed or promoted to the public, we always hire security and things like that. It's part of my job to make sure he's safe and have those, have someone around him that could make sure he's safe.
YNW Portland told police that this was a drive-by shooting. That begs the question, who would want to hurt Melly and his friends? Did anybody ever threaten him and the other guys before this happened? Portland said this was a drive-by.
When you in the limelight and you're making money and things like that, you're gonna receive hate. You're gonna receive, death threats. You're gonna receive things from everywhere, from people you know, people you don't know, people who probably feel obligated or feel, entitled to things. People who might not even know you from the campaign and just don't like you. So, as an entertainer, your life is always being threatened by somebody or someone. So I'm pretty sure. But he always handled it. He always handled himself. You know what I'm saying? Well, he always makes sure that he, do what he got to do in and out. He never lagged and never put himself in a place, for stuff like that to happen. So
So he getting threats?
I'm pretty sure he was. I mean, I get threats. Entertainers get threats. I got artists now that get threats, and they're not even as big as he was. So yeah, 100% he was getting threats. I mean, I think that comes with this game, though. It comes with the money, it comes with the fame, it comes with people wanting to be, in your shoes or just don't like you for no reason. I think that's standard when it comes. It's part of the application.
The lead detective on the case, Mark Moretti, read text messages to the jury in which Sack Chaser seemed angry at Melly's mom, Jamie King. Something appeared to be going on in the months leading up to the murders. At one point, Melly told Sack that she had sold her soul and called his mother many names.
Then she keep telling people about me, and I'm not even worried about her, bro. I'm trying to bull do me. Why? And that's always worry about me. And what the you talking about how you gonna leave, and we can't even get in the gate without you be on some crazy.
What page is that?
49, Mr. Howard. And the response on August 30th, 2018, 12:41 p.m. from the 9807.
Like, I don't even be knowing what the to say. No more. She do out of the blue. She the devil, for real. Crazy. I don't got to do with it no more. If you all kill her, bro, she ain't my mama. She sold her soul.
People have miscommunications and sometimes arguments, but it was never to a point where it was nothing serious. At the end of the day, that's his mother, and we all know that, from Sack to his friends to whoever. They're always gonna have the utmost respect for her. Certain things, as a mother, she may not like or find appropriate, and that's her right to as his mother. But anything that happened like prior with them, there was always at shows together. It was always positive. It was always a good time. So I wouldn't say there was anything deeply brewing. I would say they had miscommunication sometimes, and they didn't see eye to eye. But that's anybody.
Sack and Jamie?
Zach, Jamie, his mom. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like everybody go through when you together and you doing something. You're gonna have you're gonna have things happen where you don't agree with certain things and stuff like that. So I feel like that's
Yeah.
normal. But I'm saying I don't think it was nothing in depth where it was like that was out to get each other. It wasn't. It was never that serious.
Okay, because Sack was saying in one of them something about, I feel like you guys are up to something or something like that. So I didn't know if there was some bad blood there. And there was like a
Nah, there
video
was never
Jamie
nothing.
put on YouTube or something where she said Sack threatened her.
I don't think it was ever no bad blood because we would have Sunday dinners at the house. Everybody would be eating food, talking, having a good time. So I don't feel like it was never no bad blood. Like I said, there was probably times where they didn't see eye to eye and maybe took the wrong approach. But that's us learning and people not realizing. certain things live forever on the internet, but it was never that intention, like where it was a bad blood. Like I said, they would see each other through shows and events and dinner and things like that. She'll come cook at the house, and so it was never that serious.
That, Bortland said this was a drive-by. Have you ever thought about who would have done something like this?
It would have been, I mean, it would have been so much people. You know what I'm saying? Like, not would have been. It could have been so much people because, like, at the end of the day, this man was like, had jewelry, had a large sum of money and things like that, and don't know where it could have came from, but I do know it came from somewhere, and maybe one day we'll use our resources to find out who really did it and bring justice to Sack and Juvie and the victims.
The prosecution has said, Juvie and Sack were, there was shots fired into the car after they were already dead and stuff like that. Some people think Bortland did this. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I know one thing: you got two innocent people fighting for their life. You got two deceased, friends and family members that's unfortunately lost their life in the situation. And at the end of the day, justice do need to be served. I understand that completely, but I feel like everybody from state to the prosecution, they're looking in the wrong direction because at the end of the day, they got two people in there fighting for their life that did nothing but love and appreciate, um, those two individuals. So, no, I don't think anything like that at all.
Melly has talked in interviews about having two personalities and maybe even more, but specifically he has talked about Melly and Melvin. I asked Track about whether Melly truly believes he has two personalities or whether it's part of his act.
I mean, if he had two personalities for real, I think that would have been way before, the music and all that stuff. But nah, the Melvin persona, come from just him being creative and just giving people something to be entertained by and stuff like that. Certain records that he would do, it would be love songs. He would put that as Melly, and a certain records that would be more edge and street. They put under Melvin. I mean, you have a lot of entertainers that did this in the past. You got Beyonce with Sasha Fierce. You got T.I. with Tip. You got a lot of people that did that moniker before when they have two personalities when it comes to the music. I feel like it's really just that, just entertainment. As far as the other questions and stuff like that with the gun and things like that, that's something that you would have to speak to him about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really, never really went in depth with him on how he, with that whole situation. I know he did it in the on the documentary and things like that, but what I'm saying, we never really got into it, talked about it and stuff like that.
Did he, in the texts and stuff, he was asking for a Glock before the murders happened? Was that because of the threats, or did he always carry a gun, or what, do you know anything about that?
No, I seen that the same time y'all seen it. He always had security and always make sure he was protected even before the incident. After the incident, that's my job, and my company job is to make sure he's moving with licensed security that could make sure he's not getting harmed or hurt and make it back home safe. I do that for all my clients. So he personally never needed anything in that nature when it comes to the business with me and things like that. So
If Melly gets out, what's in the future?
everything, the world, every continent, every pieces of everywhere in the states. That's the plan.
And what about Bortland?
Same thing. They took 5 years of these kids' life, man. 5 years is a long time. So hopefully they could get that back every year, tenfold.
It's clear that Track and Melly have become incredibly close over the years. Right now, they're not allowed to talk to one another. Melly's phone privileges from jail have been revoked. That's it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. You can listen to and download Sidebar on Apple, Spotify, Google, and wherever else you get your podcasts. And of course, you can always watch it on Law and Crime's YouTube channel. I'm Angenette Levy, and we will see you next time.